In light of all the information that's starting to come out on the FBI and the inner workings that was going on, we're going to go over Comey. I'm going to do this a little differently than I've been doing, and I'm going to pick out particular questionnaires, and we're going to go over their questioning at that time of Comey. If you watch subcommittees and how it works, they take turns between Democrats and Republicans, and each congressman or representative gets to ask a question and have some, usually 5 minutes of time with the person that they're investigating. Chevet's got 10 minutes because one of the congressmen yielded his time to Chevet, so he got a lot of time. We're just going to break it down, and this will be one video, and then I'll do a Gowdy one where he's questioning Comey. Basically, the really good ones that will dig in there and not take no for an answer. And so let's get started.
Director, thank you for your accessibility. You have been very readily available, and we do appreciate that. This investigation started because the Inspector General found classified information in a non-secure setting, and the FBI went to a law firm and found this information. They seized at least one computer and at least one thumb drive. Did you need an immunity agreement to get those?
It was not, I don't think there was immunity. In fact, I'm certain there was no immunity.
Let's see how he's squinting his eyes as he's thinking. This individual has relaxed, and he's just concentrating on writing. We won't use these two as much as we used on Lynch. We will be looking a lot at Mr. Comey. One should also notice some tactics that we see right away. He has no paperwork. There's nothing in front of him. There's no looking at notes. There's no memorization. There is no learned speeches. There is no practiced sayings. It is straight off of his own memory.
The agreement used in connection with that.
I like that little move. He's squinting still, and then he looks at his hands and rubs his thumbs together. I don't know. People have like little things that they do, especially when they're nervous. Comey pets himself. If you watch his thumbs, you'll see him. This is when I wish I would actually turn a camera on myself and you can watch. But he'll take his one thumb and pet over his other thumb, or rub the top of his hand. He pets himself. It's more of a comforting action than anything. It's a very, how do you say? It's just a very comforting. He's comforting himself. He's petting himself. The long-lasting squint isn't exaggerated. People do not squint themselves that much over a memory. So that's one of our tells. He's doing an exaggerated squint. We would say that he does remember. He does know the answer.
So,
as you see, he's starting to play with his fingers, the person in the back. So he's becoming uncomfortable with the line of questioning.
did it really take the FBI a full year to figure out that Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson also had computers with classified information on?
No, it took us to that point in the investigation to insist that we try to get them.
Were you getting them because they had classified information or because there was some other information you wanted?
No, we thought those were the tools, as we understood it, that have been used to sort the emails, and the investigative team very much wanted to understand, if they could, whether there was an electronic hail of how that had been done.
All right, you just saw his response to this, and this looks like a very truthful, very memory type.
There was some other information you wanted?
No, we thought those were the tools, as we understood it, that have been used to...
You see that the squint isn't there. He's still stressed, but it's not a It's a normal stress. It would fit into the environment. His stress at this moment fits into what he's doing. Everybody's going to show stress in a stressful situation. It's the matter is, does that stress actually fit? This stress fits. You also notice when his hands are over top of each other, it's usually, they're very guarded. And he's actually pretty open throughout this most of the time. He's got a habit of, and that's why I say his technique, he has nothing in front of him. There's no paperwork. He's strictly going off memory. So it gives him the ability to say, I don't know, or I don't remember, or I'll have to look into that, or I don't have the information with me right now.
Sort the emails, and the investigative team very much wanted to understand, if they could, whether there was
Truly going off memory. He's truly saying a truthful statement.
an electronic
This guy has calmed down. His legs aren't wiggling. He's just fiddling with fingers.
tale of how that had been done. Because the
What?
big,
See,
big
he's
issue
relaxing.
was, what did they delete, what did they keep, and
But why did you need an immunity agreement?
Let me go back because Comey did something I want to show you.
tale of how that had been done. Because the
Why?
big, big issue was, what did they delete, what did they keep, and
But why did you need?
And then he looks down. He looks down. He doesn't like where this is going because he's saying too much. In his mind, he's saying too much. To everyone else, this is normal. He is releasing information that for some reason he is not supposed to, or he doesn't want to. It's making him uncomfortable with as much as he's saying, because as you see his hands, he's trying to close back in. People, when they do that, you start seeing their bodies start to want to close back in because they mentally want to close back in and shut off the valve of information coming out. So you see, he goes down, he hunches in on himself, his arms are coming back closed together. He's trying to cut off the flow.
An immunity agreement. Why didn't they just cooperate and hand them over? The law firm did, didn't they?
Well, yes, that's a question really I can't answer. That's between a lawyer and her client and the Justice Department lawyers. For whatever reason, her lawyer thought it was in her interest to get an active production immunity agreement with the Department of Justice.
For whatever reason, the lawyer decided to get the immunity agreement with the Department of Justice. That's what he's doing. He's moving away.
Yes.
Pay attention to his arms down here.
That's a question really I can't answer. That's between a lawyer.
This arm's
and
moving
her
a lot. This one's
client
staying still.
and the Justice Department
He's moving it
lawyers.
back, and watch what happens when he
For
hits it.
whatever reason, her lawyer thought it was in her interest to get an active production immunity agreement with the Department
And he
of
moves it
Justice.
further away from Chevette's. So he's keeping his arm that's towards the interrogator still and further away. He's not using it as much because it's a line of questioning he does not like. And remember, we're trying to, when he's pulling himself in, he's pulling himself in on one side for this particular question. He's trying to stop, his body is saying we need to stop this flow of information. And he's pulling his arm in. He's feeling very uncomfortable. And he's also saying when he's talking, 49, he goes into a spell where he doesn't look at him completely.
Yes.
He starts looking down.
That's a question really I can't answer. That's between a lawyer and her client and the Justice Department lawyers. For whatever reason, her lawyer thought it was in her interest to get an active production immunity agreement with the Department of Justice.
The FBI.
The for whatever reason is suspect. Just for the simple fact he won't look up and he's looking at his hands. But it's only suspect in the sense I can't call that a deceptive because he's not showing any other signs of deception other than not looking up. It looks more like uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. which would go into lines that he's omitting information, or so he's not verbally lying, but he you could call it lying by omission.
I interviewed David Kendall's partner, but did not interview David Kendall. Why didn't you interview David Kendall?
I don't remember.
There we
I
go,
don't remember that
squinting
decision.
again like that.
Going
We
back
got the
to
gate
this
up.
Reddit post, this is put up.
That was another thing I want to show you.